there, friends. My name is Mrs. Stasny, and I'm a second grade teacher at CES. Now, we are in a new month of December, and I know that there's many of you very excited for a winter holiday that will be happening on December 25th. But did you know that there are other winter holidays? And one specifically is happening right now. That holiday is called Hanukkah. And if you look at my board in the background, I have a menorah, which is a symbol of Hanukkah. And today I have a special Hanukkah story to read to you. So cozy down in your soft pillows and your blankets and enjoy my story called Latkes Latkes Good to Eat. Once, on the outskirts of a tiny village, a girl named Sadie lived with her four little brothers, Herschel, Hillel, Chaim, and baby Max. Their mother lived there too, but she was away helping Aunt Rose with her new baby. The family was so poor that the one coin in Sadie's purse never had another coin to keep it company. Their house was so drafty the wind whistled through it like a train going to Moscow, and they were always hungry. This year, the first night of Hanukkah was the coldest night yet, and the snow was deep. Sadie said, "Boys, go out and gather some firewood. It's too cold outside," Herschel said. "You go." He pushed Hillel to the door. "It's too dark outside," Hillel complained. "You go." And he pulled Chaim to the door. "But the wood is so heavy," Chaim whined. "You go." And he pointed to Herschel. Sadie sighed. "I will go get the wood. Watch the baby until I return." Sadie's boots sank in the new snow. She walked from tree to tree, picking up fallen branches. An hour passed. It got colder and darker, and bitter wind began to blow. At last, Sadie picked up the wood and turned to go home. Suddenly, a twig snapped. Sadie whirled around to see a bent old woman standing before her. The woman's face was creased and lined as a bit of wrinkled cloth. The old woman sneezed. "Bless you, Tante," Sadie said. She noticed the old woman's shoulders trembling. Her coat was shabby and thin. "Are you cold?" Oh, I am, dear," said the old woman, shivering, "and I have no more firewood." She blew her hands to keep them warm. Sadie didn't even hesitate. "Please take this firewood for your fire," she said. She piled all the wood she had gathered into the old woman's sack. "That's so nice of her." "Thank you," said the old woman. "You are a kind child. Now I have a gift for you." Oh, that was very nice of her. She unhooked a frying pan from her belt. "When you are hungry tonight, put this pan on the stove and say these words. Latkes Latkes, good to eat. Cook me up a Hanukkah treat. When you are not hungry anymore, say a great miracle happened here." "Thank you, Tante," Sadie said. "Never forget the words I have taught you," warned the old woman. "Keep them a secret. Only you may use my gift." With that, she hobbled off into the forest. Sadie ran home. "Quickly, boys, let's light the menorah," she said. "I have a surprise." As soon as they had said the blessing and lit the first candles, Herschel asked, "What's the surprise?" "And where's our wood?" asked Hillel. "I met an old woman in the forest," Sadie explained. "I gave her the wood because she was so cold, and she gave me this frying pan." "What? A frying pan?" cried Herschel. "We don't even have a fire." We don't have any food, Hyam complained. That's a good question. I wonder how they're going to cook on a frying pan with no fire. Just watch, said Sadie. She put the pan on the cold stove and whispered the old woman's words. Latkes, latkes, good to eat. Cook me up a Hanukkah treat. At that moment, a fire danced under the frying pan. Right away, 5 golden latkes sizzled in oil. The 4 little boys crowded around the stove. How did you do that? Herschel said. The old woman told me not to tell, answered Sadie. As soon as she put the latkes on their plates, another 5 latkes sputtered in the pan. Can I try it? Asked Hillel. No, let me. Hyam pushed his brother aside. No, said Sadie. Only I can use the frying pan. When the plates were heaped high with latkes, Sadie whispered, a great miracle happened here. And the magic frying pan stopped cooking, just like that. They ate and ate until their stomachs were full. The next night, after Sadie and her brothers lit their menorah, Sadie set the frying pan on the stove. In a hushed voice, she repeated the words, Latkes, latkes, good to eat. Cook me up a Hanukkah treat. Immediately, a fire glowed under the pan where 5 delicious latkes were sizzling. When the plates were heaped high, Sadie said softly, a great miracle happened here. The frying pan stopped cooking, just like that. Each night of Hanukkah, the children sat down to another tasty dinner of potato pancakes. Then, the afternoon of the 8th night, Sadie put on her shawl. I'm going to find the old woman and invite her to eat latkes with us tonight, she said. I will cook them when I get back. Take care of the baby and be good boys. Don't touch the frying pan. All together, the boys nodded their heads and solemnly said, we promise. Really? Do you think they're going to not touch the pan? Only a minute after Sadie had closed the door, Herschel boasted, I heard the secret words. You did not, said Hillel. And we aren't supposed to touch the frying pan. I did too, said Herschel. We could eat just a few latkes, said Hyam. Sadie won't know. Max, the baby, said, latkes, latkes. The boys looked at Herschel. Herschel looked at the pan. It's easy to use the frying pan, he said. Just watch. He put the frying pan on the stove and said, latkes, latkes, good to eat. Cook me up a Hanukkah treat. The stove lit itself with a bright flame. And at once the frying pan was filled with 5 latkes sputtering in oil. When the latkes were hot and golden, Herschel said, great, here a miracle happened. Are those the correct words? The frying pan began cooking 5 more latkes with tender centers and crispy, lacy edges. We've had enough, brother, said Hillel. But the frying pan kept on cooking. The little boys piled their plates high with latkes. Here, great miracles happened, tried Herschel. The frying pan cooked up 5 more latkes, luscious, brown flaked, and delicious. The 4 brothers ate fast, but the frying pan cooked even faster. Soon they had filled every dish, all the mixing bowls, and the wash tub with steaming hot latkes. That's a lot of latkes. Hyam cried, stop, frying pan, stop! But the frying pan cooked up 5 more latkes, savory and salty. Happy green miracles here, Max yelled, but the pan kept cooking. The boys hid latkes in the cupboards and under the bed. They even fed latkes to the cat. Oh my goodness. They just don't know those magic words. I wonder what's going to happen. Soon, latkes were spilling out the door. The smell of potatoes, onions, and oil floated through the village. The shoemaker stopped cobbling to sniff. The fishmonger, holding up a fresh carp, paused to breathe in the fragrance. The village gossip even stopped talking long enough to inhale the aroma of Hanukkah cooking. Oh, now the townspeople are smelling all the good food. Meanwhile, Sadie had walked deep into the blue-shadowed forest. "Tante, Tante," she called over and over, but there was no answer. Where could the old woman be? Soon the sun would go down, and Sadie needed to be home by dark to light the menorah. Now she wasn't sure she even knew the way home. Bony branches scraped the sky. Sadie shivered. "Tante," she called again. The wind whistled through the dark trees. It carried a tantalizing aroma. That means it smells really good. I wonder what the aroma or the smell could be that smells so good. There was a rustle of dry leaves, and the old woman appeared. But before Sadie could say a word, the old woman held up her hand for silence and sniffed the air. Sadie, too, breathed deeply. Potatoes, onions, oil. "Latkes! Oh no," she cried. Following her nose, she began to run with the old woman close behind her. When Sadie reached the When Sadie reached the edge of the village, she could not believe her eyes. Her house had almost disappeared under a mountain of latkes. That is a lot of latkes. And looked in the window. Her brothers were standing at the stove, eating latkes as fast as they could. More latkes sizzled in the frying pan. "The great miracle happened here," Sadie shouted, and the frying pan stopped cooking, just like that. Herschel, Hillel, Chaim, and baby Max promised, "We will never touch the frying pan again." Sadie put them all to bed with tummy aches. Wonder where they got the tummy aches from. Maybe too many latkes? But what will we do with all these latkes, she wondered. "I could carry them away," said the village porter. "I could sweep them up," said the broom seller. "We could eat them," said someone else. It was Mama, home from helping Aunt Rose. "We'll have a Hanukkah feast," said Sadie, "and everyone is invited." I think they're going to need everyone to eat all those latkes. What a party the village had that night. There was singing and dancing and dreidel playing, and of course, there were latkes. Golden, tongue-burning, hot, tender, yet crispy, lacy, luscious, brown-flecked, savory, salty, scrumptious latkes to eat. That is a mouthful. And no one in the tiny village was ever hungry on Hanukkah again. The end. I hope you enjoyed that story just as much as I do. Have a great evening.